Hi, this is Rebecca
and Leslie
with the Geeky Girls Night In podcast. Geeky Girls Night In is a podcast with your fandom family sleepover style.
Empowering fans and creating inclusive fan spaces where we can all be ourselves.
So get your jammies,
grab a drink,
gather the fur babies,
and join the conversation.
Hey everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Geeky Girls Night In. We're so happy you've joined us. I am back this week from the jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yes. She's out fighting ninjas. Don't let her lie to you.
And we have a really exciting show. Some of you saw that a video I was in for BBC America with some other people went out pretty widely online, where Jodie Whittaker surprised us. And it was a really good experience. And I've got two of the people here on the show. We're interviewing them about what that was like, what it was like behind the scenes with BBC America, how we got chosen, and what it was like meeting Jodie. So that is our interview. You want to stick around for that. And of course, Leslie will be talking about video games, and we'll be talking about what kind of geeky, nerdy things we watched and did this week.
Yep. All right, let's get it started. What you drinking?
You know, I don't know if this is a reflection on the kind of week I had, but I have a mason jar with red wine.
All right. Well, today has been kind of bonkers. I went to my first football game, like real live NFL football game.
Huh.
And yeah, it was a lot. like I'm up there philosophizing, and my husband is like, "What is wrong with you?" Because look, have you ever read the book The Giver?
No.
Okay, so in The Giver, it's supposed to be this utopian society, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like everything is structured, everything is planned out for you. Like when you turn, like, I want to say 11 or 12, the job that you're going to do for the rest of your life is chosen for you.
That sounds just like I forget that movie that came out right around the Hunger Games. That sounds just like that.
It is kind of like that, but it's a bit different. Like that, they were separated into like classes, and there's really no classes or anything. It's just that, we noticed that you have an aptitude for flight.
Okay.
So you're going to be an airline pilot.
Okay.
Things are streamlined. Like people don't have their own babies, for example. Okay. Like you are assigned children, and you are only assigned 2 children. And I think it has to be a boy and a girl. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read it. Shout out to Amy Brainerd for introducing me to this book when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so there's a point to this in the NFL. So in the book, the protagonist, Jonas, he's of age. He's going to find out what he's going to be. They're going to announce his profession at their meeting the next day. And his sister is throwing out options. Like, well, you could be a pilot, then you could take me flying places. And he's like, I don't want to be a pilot. That ain't my life. And she's like, I want to be a birth mom, because they get to eat really good food and they get gentle exercises. And like the mom's face goes like stone cold, and she's like, 2 years. You get 2 years of that treatment. And because like if you're a birth mom, you're having babies. That's what you do. And she's like, 2 years. You get 2 years of that, and then you're sentenced to, like, not sentenced, but your next job is just hard labor. You're doing hard labor for the rest of your life until it's time for you to retire. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so, like, it got me to thinking about the NFL. Yes, they make a lot of money. Yes, they make tons of money. They're millionaires and stuff. And even after they retire, they're millionaires. But, like, look at what it does to their body. And in some cases, look what it does to their brain. So it's the same thing as the birth mothers. I'm bringing this point up in the middle of the game, and my husband is just staring at me like, really?
She's like, my wife is a nerd.
So yeah, that's what I thought of the game, and the Colts lost. So,
just FYI.
Anyway, there's a point to all this. So I had a hectic day. We went to the Colts game. We also went to PF Chang's, and I ate a lot of food, and I brought home dessert, and I ate dessert, and so I'm slightly sick because I had milk with my cake. So I don't have anything to drink because if I put anything else in my stomach, I'm gonna be sick.
Oh
So that's what I'm drinking.
no.
Fun times.
Fun times.
Yes. So I wanted to give a special thanks to James Rabick. While you were gone, Quinzel and I used Zencaster to record and ran into some issues. There was some feedback on the recording, and as a result, when I combined the two streams of audio, there was like a weird reverberation echo.
Okay.
So I went into my like podcasting group that I'm a part of, and I was like, "Yo, I'm having this problem." James jumped out of nowhere and was like, "Let me help you."
Aw.
And so he made it. It's not like that audio is not the greatest audio that we've ever put out, but it's listenable.
Because
And it
of
wasn't
James.
listenable when I had it. So I just wanted to thank him so much. And
Yay,
if you
thank
guys
you,
want to check him
James.
out, he has his own podcast. It's called Fear of a Craft Beer Planet. And it's about craft beer and music.
That sounds awesome.
So, yes. So thank you so much, James. I appreciate it. Also, y'all know how I feel about my boo, Usidore.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, I want to wish Matt Young, who plays Usidore and is also a cutie pie in his own right, a very happy birthday. By the time this comes out, it will not be his birthday, but his birthday is today. So, hey, boo, hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So cute. So, anyway, in video game news, let's roll it right back to Super Seducer 2. So,
oh, yeah. Chicka bow wow. That wasn't a good
So,
sound.
130,000 units of the franchise has been sold at this point. So not just Super Seducer 2, but Super Seducer 1 as well.
Wow.
As a result, in Super Seducer 2, a new level has been unlocked called the Tinder level. So you learn how to act on Tinder, act right, stop sending people pictures of your junk. So
sounds like a public service.
Right? It's what the game is trying to teach y'all. Like, you gotta check it out. Please check it out.
Stop being wild, people. Game. Be a human. Yes.
Yes, it'll teach you how to get the girl and be nice and like I said, like when I played it, like you won't pull out playing cards with men's junk on them to play cards with your lady love out of nowhere that you just met. Well, that's not how you win. That's not how you win the heart of somebody. And you don't talk about masturbation stations just out. You know what? Just check out just check it out. I promise you will be amused for a good little while. Also, in other news, the X-Men Dark Phoenix trailers dropped.
Yes. What did you think?
Yeah. So, did you know anything about Jean Grey and the Phoenix?
Girl, I have not even seen the trailer yet. I saw that it dropped, but I was like, oh, I'll go look at it later, and I just forgot.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think it's going to tell an interesting story. I didn't read the X-Men comics. I did watch the X-Men cartoon in the 90s.
That was very popular, yeah.
Yes. Okay, such a great song. Like I hum it all the time. Everybody hate me. So basically the story of Jean Grey is kind of a complicated one. So Dr. Xavier, #Chawlz. He's the most powerful psychic that we know.
Right. I've only seen the movies, but I can go with you on that. Yeah.
Okay. But he's not. Jean Grey is a more powerful psychic than he is. But her psychic ability came on so strong as a young child that Chawlz, hashtag Chawlz, he, that's
Why
how
do you
Maggie
say it
Hill
like
says
that?
it. He's like Chawlz, and I want to thank Malcolm in the Nerds of Color group because he's like Chawlz, and so like now there's 50 people running around going hashtag Chawlz.
Oh, he's so great though.
Anyway, because her psychic power was so strong and just a nightmare to deal with. Like she couldn't function as a human being. Like he did something. Like he locked away part of her psyche. That part of her psyche that he locked away is the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So like I remember in the X-Men in like the cartoon, Jean Grey died like 3 times, but like came back as the physical manifestation of the Phoenix, and the Phoenix is their own person. So
Okay.
like have you seen the original movies like from the early 2000s?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, that's
Like
I love Patrick Stewart, and as great as James McAvoy is, it's hard to top that because he was amazing.
right. So you remember when like Jean Grey died and Cyclops went out to the middle of the forest around where she died
Mm-hmm.
and took off his glasses and was like,
Yeah.
"Bruh!"
Yes, I remember that. I remember that.
Right. And then she came, like, he shot the water, and like she came out the water and was like, "Yo, I'm back."
Yep, I
Yeah,
remember
that was the
that.
Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Phoenix. So, it's gonna be interesting to see her childhood story because, like I said, I know the comics and I know like the start of the movie, so like the early 2000s type stuff. I
Right.
haven't seen much beyond that,
Uh,
so I'm kind of curious to see this. Hashtag Chawlz. So
I haven't seen all the latest ones either, but I did see. Oh gosh, I think it was the last one that I saw actually.
Old Man Logan.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Apocalypse, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apocalypse, which I think came out. I don't remember if that's the same year. Um, and it is really interesting to watch the new batch because there's some people actually like better in the new batch, and there's some people like better in the old batch. So I get in this like mentality of wanting to have like instead of fantasy football, having like a fantasy X-Men where I get to combine them in the
Right.
way that I
Look,
like.
like everybody is hating on Jennifer Lawrence and her portrayal of I
You
forget
know
the blue
what?
girl's name.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I just think it's really hard to top Rebecca Romaine, to be honest. She really made that part her own. And she
Yeah.
really had just like this darkness, this sort of ferocity and mystery.
Yeah.
And so I think it's hard to follow that. I mean, I've seen Jennifer Lawrence in a lot of movies. I think she can be really good. I just think in this particular role, it's kind of like, you're not Rebecca
Eh.
Romaine at all. You're Jennifer Lawrence. But,
Well, we'll see how it goes. I need to watch the other ones and form my own opinion. But everybody is just like absolutely hates on her, and I'm like,
eh,
but it's it's Rebecca Romaine's backstory. Let her live, Lord.
yeah, but then some of the new ones actually did bring a lot of extra cool stuff to it. The guy who played, of course, I can't remember right now, but I will look it up. The guy who played the, I want to say the Flash. I know it's not the Flash.
Oh no,
Quicksilver.
The Beast? Oh, Quicksilver.
Evan
Okay.
Peters is amazing. He's really, really good, and he's in the new cast. So some of them, it's pretty awesome. So I say try it out. I liked X-Men Apocalypse. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Okay. And it's not the fact that I just like I'm boycotting it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't had a chance to. I'm a bum,
Eh.
and I'm a bum with a kid, and I
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to go to the movies all that
Yeah.
often, and I keep meaning to like take her to a kiddie movie and see how she does, and maybe.
Yeah.
But she's the Tasmanian devil, so I
Yeah.
don't just see that working out. So
But based on the trailer, you think you'll see the movie?
yes, like I just have to make special arrangements.
That's what people
Like,
have been
'cause-
saying, that it looks good though. So
yeah, it looks good, and I like Sansa from the Game of Thrones.
she's amazing as Sansa. She's
a
really
badass.
good. She's a great actress. Yeah.
Isn't she engaged to a Joe Bro or something? Like, I think she's
Oh
engaged
yeah,
to a
yeah,
Jonas
yeah, yeah.
brother.
She has one of the Jonas Brothers. Yeah.
Look at her. She's all grown up. Like, in my eyes,
We're
she'll
like her
always be like
aunties.
12. Yeah, she'll always be 12 to me. That's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in other news, I was a PR company sent me a copy of a game, and it's called Pathfinder Kingmaker, and it's a CRPG, which is a computer role playing game.
Okay.
And I've downloaded it, and so I haven't got to play it much, and I'll have a review for you guys next week.
Okay.
But the gameplay that I've played thus far, it's pretty good. I play So whenever I play a game like this, I always play the same thing. I'm always a ranger. I always have a bow and arrow. That's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm doing now. But this type of game I've never really played before. I've watched, like, I didn't used to play video games. I used to watch people play them, and I would be a backseat driver. Don't ask me why. That's just who I am. I'd be like,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
left, go right. You missed a trunk. And then it's like one day
Right.
somebody got frustrated and they shoved the controller in my hand and they're like, you play. And I'm like, but I don't want to play. I just want to control everybody. And they're like, that's the whole point of a video game. Play the damn game. So I started playing, was hooked. And now, like, I'll still, like, backseat drive you when you play a game, but I'll also play the game myself. So hey, win-win.
Yeah.
But I've seen people play games like this before, and the point in the game that I'm at right now, I'm still at the very beginning, but I'm learning how to control 3 characters at once.
Okay.
So it's a little difficult, but like I said, I hope to play some this week and then have like a small review for you
Okay.
for the next podcast episode. So
Cool.
we'll see.
Cool.
And then finally, like I've talked about it for I don't even know how many since Gen Con.
Uh-huh.
I've talked about like Dungeons and Dragons and people of color learning Dungeons and Dragons for like a month now.
Yep.
And so finally, you know, I've started making strides to make this event happen. And I've put some feelers out there. Some people have gotten back to me. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't have anything completely set up yet. But
Something's
things are
coming
happening.
together.
Yeah, things are coming together.
Nice.
Things are happening, and I will have some more information on that soon.
Yay! I'm so excited. I
am
also jelly because I live too far to do it, but that's
I
awesome.
mean,
I'm
you
happy
could
for you.
create your own. We could figure this out, and then you can make one on your end of the earth.
Okay.
So,
Cool. Well, I'm happy for you and proud of you.
thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Cool. So this weekend, as far as my geek things, I got to say today, I was in LA this morning. So, you know, I live like an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes from LA. I was
God.
actually in LA first this morning, meeting with some, like a little Winona Earp fan meetup.
Okay.
I'm always telling people, if you want a good fandom, watch Winona Earp. And so I was talking about the Telefilms contest, how they said they still wanted to work with me on my show. So basically, you know, I just put it out there again to the Winona Earp fandom, and there's like 5 people who work in the entertainment industry who are also Winona fans. Or like, you know, they've been to film school. They're, you know, they know a lot about the stuff. They were like, let's have brunch and, you know, we'll help you out. So I kind of just went through and got sort of a process of what's going to be step 1, step 2, step 3, you know, what I need to do, what goals I need to make as far as writing, as far as raising money and that kind of stuff. So awesome fandom, and I'm getting excited. And then I went to a writing workshop right after. So
Very cool. Very cool. I need to take my butt to a writing workshop. I have so many like ideas swirling, and I have half stories written.
Yeah.
And then I get bogged down
Yeah.
and like mired in details.
Well, what I love about writing workshops, so we have a nonprofit in the area called Inlandia, because, you know, I live in what is called the Inland Empire. It's basically Riverside in San Bernardino County. And it's called Inlandia, and they have a lot of free writing workshops. And to me, what I like about it is because you can sit at home. Exactly. You get mired. I get paralyzed with self-doubt and with anxiety. And at a workshop, they're like, you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes to write, go. and they give you prompts and stuff. And when you're forced to write, it's amazing the creativity that comes out. And when you read it and people give you like good constructive, like, oh, it's encouraging. And then I leave and I'm like, maybe I can do this, So that's what I like about it. So I definitely, I think it's a good idea.
That's cool.
So there's a few events and contests having to do with nerdery I think you guys would like. So they're both in LA because that is my closest major metropolitan area. So just speaking of the Winona fandom, there's kind of a new, I guess, organization group of volunteers. It's called Erp Your Community. So it's like volunteer events. So on October 27th, 2018, Erp Your Community, there's going to be an LA event. It's going to be at MacArthur Park. It's going to be from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And they're going to give away food and necessities to people who need them. So look up Erp Your Community. They are on Facebook. They're on Twitter. And I highly recommend checking them out. Then something that's happening just a couple days, or maybe the next day after this goes up. It's an event on October 4th. So it's called Celebrating the Asian American LGBTQ Experience. So C.B. Lee, who's a wonderful author, she wrote the very celebrated books, Not Your Sidekick and Not Your Villain. And she's one of the organizers, and I follow her on Twitter, so I saw that. And it's an evening of community, culture, and connections celebrating the Asian American LGBTQ experience. And Osric Chow tweeted it and was like, I'm going. I'll see you guys there. It's at the Chinese American Museum. And let's see what time it is. October 4th. I don't see the time right now. I can't get to it quick enough. But if you look up CB Lee's Twitter, or you just look up Celebrating the Asian American Experience in LA, and we'll put the link in the show notes as well, at the Chinese American Museum on the 4th. It looks like it's going to be amazing. And she's doing an Indiegogo campaign with lots of cool t-shirts and pens and mentoring opportunities and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. A contest I thought I'd tell you guys about is, if you're familiar, I don't know if you're familiar with the Folio Society. It is.
I never heard of it.
It is a company that does limited edition, gorgeous editions of classic books. So they take, say, a beloved book. In this case, they're just about to come out with a few. One of them, like Little Women or Howl's Moving Castle, or every kind of classic you can think of. They will put it in gorgeous binding with beautiful illustrations. Everything is just like a very, very premium hardback with gorgeous illustrations, and everything from the font to the binding to everything is just top of the line. So they have an annual illustration competition so that they can find new talent. So this year the title is Howl's Moving Castle, which is a very beloved classic by Diane Wynne-Jones. And so you can send in your illustrations so they can discover you. So look that up, the Folio Society. Another announcement, we have a time for the Doctor Who Global Simulcast. So Doctor Who, as we know, the next season is coming out Sunday, October 4th. And so it's going to be at 1:45 Eastern Time. And we're going to be watching it worldwide the same time as they are in the UK. So I'm excited. I've got my watch party started. And I came up with a drinking game, and I will be posting that and tweeting it as well. So now, as for reviews, anything sci-fi, fantasy, or nerdy I did this week I can review. I went to see A House with a Clock in Its Walls.
Was that cute? That sounds cute.
Yes. So it is a fantasy, is a movie based on a sort of beloved child's fantasy book that I had not read. I mean, it's something I would have looked at anyway, but the reason I was like, oh, I'm going to see it for sure, because I don't get out to many movies, is Eric Kripke, the Supernatural creator, tweeted it. He wrote the screenplay.
Okay.
So he told everybody, hey, Supernatural family, first of all, he's like, it was my favorite childhood book. And you'll see where I was inspired, stole things from for Supernatural. And there's all these Easter eggs. And he said, if you can get 3 or more Supernatural family out to the theater this weekend, take a picture, take a selfie with your tickets, I will send you 1 signed Supernatural pilot script.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, well, now I'm going. So I called a couple of my local faves who love Supernatural, and we went to see it, and it had Jack Black and Cate Blanchett, and both of them are always amazing. And it was great. It was absolutely great. I loved it.
Have you gotten your screen play up?
Oh, no. I just went and saw it last week, and he's like, you know how many of these he's going to have to send? Oh, my God, no. I'm sure it's going to be like 2 months.
I'm like, better give me my stuff.
It was so cute, though, scrolling down his Twitter to see all of the Supernatural fans all over the world that had gone to see it together. You know, it was very cute. So, yeah, I could do a whole review, but really, it was kind of a creepy, magical thing, you know, like creepy dolls and someone coming from the dead. So it's probably not appropriate for a toddler.
Yeah.
But for an older kid and then, you know, for adults.
Yeah, we're
great.
working up to the, not Tafiti, Tika.
Yeah, I would say
Moana.
probably not for geeky. I didn't bring my niece, and I was glad I didn't, because there was a lot of like creepy stuff, which isn't intense for an adult, but for a toddler, no. This is an announcement, not a review, but did you see that Jordan Peele is going to be producing a revival of The Twilight Zone?
I did. I saw that. I am not, like, I've seen all of the Twilight Zones, but I've only seen them because my husband, like, absolutely adores them.
Yeah.
So, like, I showed him that information, and he was like, they're gonna mess up the Twilight Zone. I can't have it. I'm like, oh.
You know what, though?
Okay.
If anybody can do it, Jordan Peele can do it.
Yeah, but he
Because-
was freaking out. And so,
Well-
he's like, he's not Rod Sterling. He's not smoking a cigarette. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, he's not a very emotional man. So when he has an outburst, I'm a little, I don't even know, reclamped.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I can relate. Like oh my God, I watched The Twilight Zone when I was a kid. It was one of my top shows, one of my top 5 shows, and I watched it over and over. And I've seen it again as an adult. It definitely holds up. I don't think there's anything that's happened since that can really touch it, that can say it's The Twilight Zone. I think the closest thing is Black Mirror. But then again, Black Mirror is more dystopia, whereas I do think Twilight Zone was a bit more hopeful. And of course,
to an
less
extent, like
technology driven as well, whereas Black Mirror is very much centered on technology.
like the one where the guy just wants time to read, and like it's the end of the earth. Well, not the end of the earth, but it's the end of the world. People are gone, and all that's left is him and libraries. And so he has all the time in the world to read. And as soon as he steps foot in the library, his thick ass Coke bottle glasses break.
Yeah. No, I'm not
I'm
saying
just
it
like,
can't be
that
dark.
tore something in me. That tore. I'm like, that because that's what I want in my life. All I want is a library and time to read. And then his glasses broke, and I have Coke bottle glasses too. And
It's dark, but I do think, like, okay, I don't know about hopeful, but there's a point of view. Like, Dark Mirror is very nihilistic, you know? And I do think The Twilight Zone has more of a social point of view. And if you read about Rod Sterling, he was very much a man with a very strong social conscience. And sci-fi was kind of the way he was able to express it. So I think in that sense, Jordan Peele is the best person to do it. So we'll see. I'm excited. I think he's a really brilliant guy. So
he is. It was just that reaction that I got from my husband was a little startling.
Yeah,
So.
I don't blame you. And then let's see. I tried the Killjoys. So Killjoys is a show that I have been wanting to see for a long time. And then I heard, it went on Hulu. So it's like bounty hunters in space. I mean, it looked awesome, right down my alley. Strong female lead, it's my catnip here. But it turns out I could only access one. I guess that's only on the Hulu live streaming access. But the one I saw, I loved. It looked so fun. This had a badass woman, like a lot of, there was like a hallway fight, which I'm all about that. She has like a mysterious past. You're not sure if she's good or bad, and it's exciting, and a lot of social and moral grays. It looked awesome. So now I'm just like, well, crap. How am I going to see the rest of it? So
Awesome.
The Good Place is back. Do you watch The Good Place?
I do not watch The Good Place. Like, I've seen previews for it and I've seen bits and pieces, but like it doesn't capture me.
Yeah. Well, it's my catnip. It is back. I watched the premiere. They had like a double long premiere, and very exciting. It was really, really good.
Cool.
And then the last thing I'll talk about is so big in the fandom community right now. The People's Choice Awards are live. And that is always the time of year where fandoms get to try to throw their weight around to see who's the most obsessive, biggest, baddest fandom in the world. Who can get that win for their faves. And noteworthy this year, Winona Earp was not nominated, but the fans did a successful writing campaign.
Oh, wow.
Which is, I think, a pretty big accomplishment for a fandom. So now Winona Earp is in the best sci-fi show choices. And it is a stacked category, I think, because it has Supernatural, which has a huge, obviously, fan base. It has The Expanse, which is a fantastic sci-fi show with a very, very passionate fan base. So let's see, who else is on that? I think it was Shadowhunters. Yeah, Shadowhunters, which is very passionate fan base. The Originals, I'm not sure about that fan base, but it's a pretty stacked category. So may the best group of nerds win.
Good luck, y'all.
And that's all I've got. So you guys stay tuned for the interview. Kat and Allie are darling, and we had a great time talking about meeting Jodie Whittaker.
Yay. Stay tuned, y'all. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, as promised, we have an interview with two of my co-conspirators, co-stars on the video where I was surprised by none other than the 13th Doctor. So welcome Nat Story. She is an IT nerd by day and a regular nerd by night and weekends and also days. Nat is one half of Ugly Face Stories, an art and story endeavor with her husband. She can also be found on stage in Tucson's local theater scene. Hi, Nat.
Hello.
And then from Boston, Massachusetts, Allie Gallant is an artist, illustrator, and graphic designer. Her artwork focuses primarily on nature and pop culture, and she's currently working on her first graphic novel. Ooh, you'll have to come back and talk about that. A YA story about a mermaid and a vampire who find friendship, adventure, and eventually love. Oh, I like that. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us.
So I have a first question mapped out and everything, but Allie, real quick, your last name. Does anybody ever call you the kid from Highlights, the magazine?
My cat's name was Goofus.
Yes.
And also, you know what people do call me? Like, I've had friends that, like, 10 years I'll know them, and they're like, wait a minute, you're Allie G. And I'm like, yeah, I hate that.
Oh, no, I didn't even put that together.
And also, Aladdin came out when I was 8, so you can imagine.
Oh,
Prince
no.
Ali constantly.
Prince
Like,
Ali?
that's
Yeah,
the
I wouldn't have
first
even
thing
thought that.
I saw your last name and was like, oh, I love Goofus.
Yeah, I want to change my Twitter name to not Goofus, I think, because it's a little more, it's more irreverent, I think, than the one I have.
I I think you should. That'd be great. All right, back to the matter at hand. Sorry, y'all. What kind of nerdy things do you ladies get into in your spare time?
I mean, I have a lot of fandoms outside of like the general nerdy stuff. I love theater, like Rebecca said.
And this is Nat speaking.
So
By the way.
yes, yeah, this is Nat. So yeah, I do theater here in Tucson. I write with one of my friends, and we do a couple of like comedy show type things, like scripted. Yeah, my husband and I do ugly face stories, and so he's an artist. I can't draw, and I'm not very crafty, but I can write, and I can like tell him what I think is gonna look good. So we kind of work together to create some pop culture like mashups and stuff, and then we go to Comic Cons and just take it all in. I mean, we both are super nerds, and it's really been fun.
I saw one of your videos. It was really cute. You guys are adorable.
Thanks.
And I work in computers.
And this is Allie.
Yeah. So I'm actually I'm like a graphic designer, but I also am a cosplayer and an artist. So I'm constantly drawing fan art. I'm always making a costume. This past Comic-Con, I go big or go home. And so when I go to Comic-Con in San Diego, like I don't mess around, and I had 5 costumes.
Oh,
I had
wow.
Yes.
no regular clothes in my suitcase, which was a problem for the flight back.
Which
But,
5? Which 5?
I went as Mercy from Overwatch. I
Yes.
made a set of foam wings that were like almost 2.5 feet long.
Wow.
I was Tammy from Bob's Burgers. I
Mhm.
was Reese Witherspoon's character from A Wrinkle in Time. And then what was
Oh.
the other one?
The Good Place.
Eleanor.
Oh, and then I was Eleanor. Yes, thank you. From The Good Place with my shrimp earring.
And
It
you
made
were the
me so
13th
happy.
Doctor.
And of course, I was the
Oh, duh. Yeah.
I was the doctor. I can't believe it. Yeah, I was the 13th Doctor on my flight here to San Diego, and also the first day that I was there. So, oh gosh, six costumes.
Yeah. How would you feel about sending those pictures to Leslie for the Instagram? Or me?
Yes.
Or send it
Oh
to
yeah,
me?
sure. I've got a bunch of them.
We should post those on Insta. I'll get it because I really loved your costumes. I love that the people who were in the video, I don't know how exactly they chose, but they definitely chose people with a lot of very in-depth nerdy talents and interests. So that was really cool.
I
It's the
noticed
same
that.
thing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so-
go ahead.
No, I think somebody asked. Did one of you ask like how they chose us? And they were very cryptic about it. And
They
they're like,
were.
You fit the criteria. So I
Uh-huh.
tried piecing it together, like looking at all of our profiles. I'm like, well, I mean, that sort of like creative talent with nerdiness was a common thread. It wasn't not that being just a fan is just a fan, but they really found a really fun group. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I forgot I asked her that because I'm the one that actually asked her that, and she was like, "You just fit. It was your. We just liked your social media.
Yeah.
Super vague."
Interesting.
They,
You know,
stopped us.
I think they liked choosing women as well. I think they were going for like a positive spin on her being the first woman doctor, people who felt positively about it. So I feel like that was something too.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree.
But we're jumping a little ahead first, ladies. So before we get into the experience, so why Doctor Who? What do you love about it? What drew you to it? You want to go first, Nat?
Sure. It took me a little bit to get into it because I didn't understand. And I started with, I actually saw one of Tennant's episodes first, and then went back and started from 9. And it was, I think it was like that it was kind of bizarre and there were aliens, but relatable.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like that. Like I watch other shows like Supernatural and stuff, and I never really relate to like the monsters.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was a big thing for me, was to relate to the aliens in some of the episodes.
Okay.
And you don't really know that who's an alien or what, or that the doctor, I didn't understand that the doctor was an alien. And it's just that like common thread of like inclusion and diversity, but really unified, that I just really like clung to.
Yeah, that's awesome. Natalie?
So, Doctor Who, I worked at a summer camp like 12 years ago, and I was the only American there, and it was like 40 British girls. as the other counselors. And so I visited them over the years quite a bit, and I've gotten into a lot of the shows that sort of I wanted to, be up to date on the shows that they were watching. And so obviously it's like an institution in the UK. And so I've just been watching it ever since then. We've been, talking about it. I obviously, I started with Eccleston, but I'm so excited for Jodie.
Yeah.
When you heard that Jodie Whittaker was going to be the next Doctor, how'd you guys feel?
I think you hear in the video that I said I screamed. And I don't know what I screamed. I just remember it like being loud. And then, but at the same time feeling like, okay. Like it was immediately like, oh, cool. Like I love her. It's a woman. And then, all right. Like it wasn't, I don't know. I mean, it's revolutionary, obviously, in what we're seeing, but it didn't hit me right at first. It was just exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would say when I first heard, I definitely gasped, but I think there was like anticipation, and it was one of those things where you hope it's going to happen, and then usually it never does. And so I like already resigned myself to the fact that I was like, I'm going to be disappointed, and then to not be disappointed was just so rare. It was wonderful. I'm just so excited. I can't believe it's this week.
Yes. So let's get into the experience of the video. I'll kind of explain a little bit how it was set up, and then we'll get into just kind of going over it. So BBC America tweeted earlier in the year, hey, we're going to be doing a video on the ground at Comic-Con. Who wants to be a part of it? Like a welcome Jodie video. So at the time, they were posting a lot of videos they'd put together. They were having fans send in welcome Jodie videos of like, I don't know, 20 seconds or whatever. And then they were putting them together and they were tweeting them. So I assumed that's what they were doing at Comic-Con. That was a little, I thought, oh, maybe they'll play it at the panel and Jodie will actually see something I'm in saying she's awesome. So they reached out, and as we said, it was a little not quite sure like how they chose us, but they chose what turned out to be, I think, 13 of us or around there. Because when they said, hey, who wants to be in it? Who's going to be at Comic-Con? And then people just replied and said, me, pick me, or whatever. And then they messaged us all a few weeks later, the people they chose saying, hey, you really want to do this? And, can you be here at this hotel in San Diego at this time? So would you say that's fair? That's kind of how it went in the beginning?
Yeah, I think I went back and like verified that it was the real Doctor Who account. Like it wasn't somebody telling me to just show up for this video. So I checked that a few times before I responded because you just get a bunch of crap online. But I thought the same thing, that I was like, oh, I've seen these little, quick cut videos. I might get in that, but I didn't know what else to expect. It was just kind of like, okay, not a big deal. I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly was expecting like it to be just like you get, one of those sort of activations that are all around Comic-Con where you get like a little bit of swag or something and then you do the video and that would be it. And I was like, I'll take a tote bag. I'm excited. This will be great.
What was it like arriving at the hotel? Because you kind of, it sounds like you guys kind of half believed that it was going to happen, kind of not, and you didn't really know what was going on. So what was it like arriving at the hotel and meeting the BBC America staff? Was that part what you expected?
No. No. I mean, it took a little bit to get there, and I had a hard time finding parking, and I almost didn't go because I just really, it didn't feel like a real thing. I was like, well, I mean, if I don't make it, whatever. We're really busy all week. It's fine. But I walk in, and Kyle, she like immediately recognized I looked lost and grabbed me and took me down. But there was like security, and then all of a sudden all these papers to sign. And I think that's when it started to like make me nervous. I'm like, what is happening? I don't understand what I signed up for, but I'm here for it.
Sure.
What about you, Allie? What did you think?
So I actually have to start a little bit earlier because I almost didn't even make my flight from Boston. And I got to the airport. The line for the baggage drop was so long. And I ran up to this woman. And I was like, please help me. Can you take my bag? She goes, no problem. And she goes, as I'm walking away, she goes, I love Doctor Who. Have a good time at Comic-Con.
Aww.
And so then I ran to the plane. we flew into Los Angeles. We had to drive down to San Diego. So I was like, we're not going to make it. It's not going to happen. We get to my hotel at 1:30, and I sprinted. Like, I'm not even kidding. I haven't run that fast since like track in high school. And so I was like sweating when I get there. And then I see that there's like 7 people there. And I'm like, oh, okay, something's up. What's going on? I look a mess. We're going to totally meet her. I think that's what's going to happen, but maybe it won't. I don't know. So I still was like, not quite sure, but I thought that maybe it was going to happen.
So these other last questions I'm going to answer too, since I was part of this group. And I will say, when I got to the hotel, I was surprised. I thought it was just going to be like, I don't know. I thought it was going to be like 50 people, and they were just going to be like, okay, each of you get 10 seconds. We're going to put it all together, right?
Yep.
So when I got to the hotel, it was a little bit different than I expected because there were so few people there. But I was so excited. It still did not dawn on me, not even a smidge, that she could be there. I was literally that excited just to be in a video she was going to see. I was just like, oh, I get to surprise her with a video and And I should have suspected that point simply because I kept asking them, like, so how long do you want this speech to be? Because they were saying, oh, you're going to talk to the camera about, to welcome Jody or what you love about the doctor or whatever. And I kept asking for details, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. And they're like, whatever. I should have known then, because what director, what producer really wants to edit all of your crap? You know what I mean? Like, most of the time they would just be like, this is how long, this is what you say, this is how you do, right? And they were so like, well, whatever. Because it didn't matter, because they were going to interrupt you anyway. But
That's like, funny. I didn't even think of that.
It did not dawn on me. I was just like, oh, well, they're just letting a few people go more in depth.
See, and I was listening. I could hear you asking these questions and telling my husband, like, these people are really prepared. I don't know what I'm going to do. And this seems like a really intense situation. We have to have 30 seconds. Did she say 30 seconds? Like, yeah. I'm listening, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And not even thinking 1 second, like she was going to be there.
Yeah.
It was just I was so like, what are the rules? Please tell me the rules.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was obsessing about too. So I swear to you, it didn't even enter my mind that we could be doing anything else, because I was obsessing about. So that's the next question, is how did you prepare your speech? Because I started the day before, but I was still writing it then because I wasn't sure like what exactly they wanted, and they weren't very forthcoming. But how did you guys prepare, or what did you prepare?
I had no idea what I was going to say, and I thought about it beforehand, and then when I got in there, I don't even know what I said. I mean, I know sort of what I said, but if I had to tell you exactly, I could not. I was like in just a surreal state. I think also I'd been just so jet lagged, and I was like on like a weird, travel thing. So just getting there, and then for her when she so I it just came to me in the moment.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. I thought it was going to be like a few seconds, and so I was just going to be like, I'm excited for Jody, and then that was it. But then there was a couple other people really preparing. Again, I'm just watching everybody. I am way not ready. So while we were waiting for our turn, it's kind of when I started thinking about what I wanted to say, because I hadn't thought about what it meant. I was just kind of like ready to do fun Comic-Con stuff.
How'd you guys feel when the camera started rolling?
I got nervous. So the other woman, I think, was it Molly? She would like take us upstairs, and we had to climb stairs, and she was talking to me. So I was talking and climbing stairs, and I started to get nervous. By the time I got to the room, I was out of breath.
Oh no.
And I got so nervous. Like I immediately, I think I started to kind of think like, what if she's here? Because you think these kind of crazy, I said this in my video, like I always think these really fantastic things that like, no way it's going to happen. It's in the back of your mind. And so I don't know if like that plus walking in and seeing like a set made me nervous. But I actually had to ask him, I was like, can you just give me a second? I need to catch my breath. I'm a little nervous. And now thinking that she was like back there listening to that, like, I don't know, I felt like so stupid, but happy. There was one moment when they had us look up at the camera or whatever, the monitor, and it was just a picture of her. And they're like, look at the picture of her. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why am I not looking at a camera? It started to feel like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm super nervous.
Like I'm ready to fight all of you. What is
Yeah, like
going
I
on?
feel like I'm being bunked. What's happening?
What about you, Allie?
I was so nervous. Like it was weird when I actually met her and was talking to her. I wasn't nervous at all. The nerves just went away. But the whole time I was talking, I was just standing there like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling. How long do I have to do this? Because again, they didn't tell us how long, and you can see in the video where I'm like, should I say my name? Like, what do you want me to do? There was like no parameters, and so that made me more nervous because I was like, oh, I kept like I trailed off at the end because I was like, I don't know what else to say. Like, and that's when she came up behind me.
Well, when I started looking, I saw her picture and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be talking to her. My whole speech is just about Doctor Who in general. Like, not in general, but like third person. So I was like, do I say this? Do I say that? And they're like, just start talking. And I'm like, why do these people not care what I say? So, do you remember the moment where her hand touched your shoulder? And what did you think? Like, do you remember that moment? Because I'll tell you guys that in my mind, you know how something happens that's crazy, but time moves kind of slow? Like, I felt her hand, and you know what I thought? Because my sister was there, but outside the hotel, because I had invited her in, and she was like, no, I don't want to be on a video. And so I was like, did my sister change her mind? Like, which makes no sense, because you had to sign all this stuff, and they had to bring you up there. But I was like, that split second, I was like, is my sister in here? What did you guys think?
It went really. It was like that. Yeah, it went slow. I felt it, and I thought maybe like, oh, they want me to stop. And what a weird way to tell me like they're in the camera too.
Yeah.
They can see you telling me to stop.
Brains
And so
are weird.
I don't know if I felt annoyed in that, or just kind of like, oh, okay, I messed up. Like I knew I was saying stupid things. Yeah, and then it was blackout.
Do you know you guys just made me realize what I just remembered like the first part of when I walked in. I was like, which mark do you want me to stand on? Because they had the tape on the floor.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, you've done this before. And I was like, yeah, I was a child actor. Like, I was like, oh my God, now she heard all of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't. It's too much.
Oh no. It's
That's
okay.
fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
That's cute. She was probably like, that's what I was when I was a kid too. Like, I wanted to be an actor. But
There you go.
yeah.
So what all did you guys say to her?
Before, so they started rolling, not when they told us, like they lied, right? So they were recording, I think from the moment we walked in.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you can kind of tell in some of those clips on there. But one of the things that they told us is only one of you is going to talk. And I immediately turned to my husband, and they're all kind of doing their own thing, but I'm kind of talking to him. But I find out when Jodie came out, she heard me talking to him. She called me out, and I looked at him and I was like, don't talk. I'm going to be the one that's talking. Don't make any dumb faces. Just smile. Just smile. I'm like, don't make like a weird face.
You were telling your husband this.
Like,
I love
and
it.
I didn't think like anybody heard.
You're
When
like,
she came
smile.
out-
You're like, be quiet and look cute. That's it.
Yeah, I'm like, don't look dumb. Please don't embarrass me because I'm gonna be talking. So don't do anything. And I didn't think. I was like, oh, they didn't hear me because I thought, they're setting up, whatever. So she came out and I screamed. I immediately started crying, and she said that I was gonna make her cry because I was crying. I remember that, and then I remember her saying, I love that you were giving him a hard time about not talking and just standing there. And I was already shocked, but I was like, oh, someone did hear it. And the one person that I probably wouldn't want to hear heard it. So we talked about that a little bit. She teased my husband for not wearing a Doctor Who shirt. And then
What shirt were you wearing?
I was
Tell us that.
wearing my Nevertheless She Regenerated t-shirt, which was a last minute decision. I was going to save it for the panel day, and I thought, I'm just going to wear it. And I immediately, as soon as I walked in, like the crew loved it. She said several things about how cool it was and what a cool mix that was, and that was really cool. She knew my nails, I had painted them blue, and my hair was blue at the time, and she noticed those things. I kept telling her that she was pretty, and I remember like You're so pretty. And then I was knowing, like, just shut up. Why are you saying that? This is not important. This is all about like what we're like not against, but it's like the opposite of all this like female empowerment. I'm like, you're so pretty.
On the video you and your husband did, he's like, you were creepy. Y'all just kept saying she was pretty. I was cracking
I
up.
just could not think of anything. Although they didn't show hardly any of him, and all he kept saying was, "This is so cool," and he was so loud and like stood back like 10 feet. He didn't know what to do. He was totally freaked out.
It kind of
But-
sounds like you were 30 seconds away from asking to braid this woman's hair.
Yeah, I was like, I think we're friends. We talked about our hair and nails. You're so pretty. Let's go have lunch. Like,
In your defense, she is very pretty.
she's so pretty, and it was so odd, I think, to see her in real life and be like, she looks exactly like she does on TV, which was really weird. But yeah, she talked about Tucson because we are from Tucson, and she knew stuff about us.
Her
I think
husband
people
is
that
from
were coming out-
Tucson.
Her husband is from Tucson, and she's like, "Are you Wildcats?" Which is our mascot at the university here at the University of Arizona, and we are. And I just said, "Yeah," and she kept saying, "Like, I love Tucson. I go there loads of times." And I was like, "Yeah." I just didn't know like how to have a conversation.
No.
You're all,
It
yeah?
was-
Pretty lady
yeah.
said yeah? No.
Yeah, your hair is pretty. Can I have some? Like,
You sound like Olga in Crybaby, the movie, you know, when
Oh,
her
I haven't
parents,
watched Crybaby in forever.
like when her parents have the exchange student, and she's like, "We like boys and fast cars." And I was like, "Yeah." So yeah,
yeah, there's no fair.
So funny. And what did you say to her, Allie? How did that work?
As I said, she actually like scared me. So I like not was just surprised that it was her. She physically scared me. And my sister just sent me a text yesterday, and she's like, "You look like you're gonna fight her in part of the video," and she'd startled me. But then after I got over my shock, she thanked me for what I had said, and then she said, "Oh, and you mentioned art," and I said, "Yeah, I'm an artist." And so she asked me like about my art, what was getting up to at Comic-Con. So we started talking about that. I told her I loved her in Broadchurch. And then, this is the best part. I can't believe, well, I'm glad I saved it for last. But she told me that I was the very first cosplayer she'd ever seen dressed up as 13.
That's so awesome.
Yep. And then actually, so I wasn't in the full jacket, and I said, "Sorry, I'm not wearing the jacket. It's a San Diego. It's too hot." And she goes, "Tell me about it." She goes, "And you got the flip-flops on, so you're like California casual doctor." I said, "Yep,
That is
perfect. I love
awesome.
it." She's like, "Yeah." She's looked at my feet. She goes, "I love the flip-flops. They're great."
So you guys saw the video. I absolutely lost it. Because like I said, I had no idea. I was trying to take screenshots or GIFs to post, and I look like I'm like dying while wailing. It's a whole thing. But I was so shocked. And she was so sweet. You know, like the first couple things we said was she was just apologizing for interrupting my speech. She was like, I had already started walking out. She goes, I was already committed to walking out when I heard how great your speech was. I should have just waited. And she just kept apologizing. And I was like, it's fine. It's totally fine. And then I was just very awkward. I tried to show her my Girls Rock socks while she was talking to Sean, my friend's son, who I brought as my guest because he's a huge Doctor Who fan. And thankfully they edited out where I was like talking while she was talking and completely just spazzing. But my friend's son, Sean, that I brought, he's a huge Doctor Who fan, but he was, he was a little nervous, and he is hard of hearing. He has hearing aids. But like I was a little nervous for him. Like I hope they're gonna, I hope everybody like looks at him when they talk to him and all that stuff. And they were really sweet. Like she says, well, I hope you like it. I hope you're not disappointed about how I interpret that. He's like, I don't see how that could be possible. He was just very serious. It was so cute. I don't know. She was just darling, and I can't even remember what I said after that. Beyond, I have Girls Rock socks. Oh, and I told her I made the shirt because I wasn't in full 13th Doctor cosplay, but I did make the shirt because there's only a few companies selling it right now, and I couldn't get it in time. And I have never cosplayed. I am not artistic. in hardly anyways. But I found this YouTube video about how to make fabric paint with like acrylics and shaving cream and like Elmer's glue. And it worked. And so she complimented me on the shirt, and that's kind of all I remember. And then they said, "Oh, you guys have to keep it a secret." So was it hard keeping it a secret?
Yeah. The second I got back to my hotel room afterwards, I just walked in and I didn't say anything to my friends, and they just looked at me and they're like, I guess I had this look on my face. They're like, "You met her, didn't you?" And I was like, "Sorry, I don't know what you mean." And just thank gosh I had you guys, because if I hadn't had you guys to talk to, just to at least like commiserate with we can't tell anyone yet, I think it would have been worse.
Yeah. I like to talk about, and we like to post about the things that we do and like the highlights of the trips and all that. And so when we got home and people were asking, what was your favorite part about Comic-Con? And I couldn't come up with like a real answer and I kept telling Rodney, my husband, I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody thinks we hate Comic-Con because we can't. We're like, yeah, it was fine. It was cool. Because truly nothing compared to that. And that was not even, that was before the cons really started. And the rest of the week was great, but I couldn't talk about Comic-Con like as I usually do because I didn't want to act like I had too much fun, because then they would I don't know why anybody would have guessed that, because I surely didn't, but it was really hard just to talk to people. So after like a month I was like, oh thank goodness, people forgot about Comic-Con, let's never talk about it.
You two are so good. I told everybody. Okay, I didn't put anything in writing, right? Because I was like, okay, BBC America cannot know if it doesn't go online, right?
Sure.
So I didn't text it to anyone, email anyone. Like I was like, if I see someone in person, I like kept my voice down because we were at the table, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't have other people hear me. Like it was a little overboard in that sense, but I literally walked outside the hotel and my sister and my friends were waiting there. And I was like, come on, let's go. And we went to the corner and I was like, I met her. I was like, don't say anything. Don't put it online. Oh my God. I'm flipping out. But I literally told everyone who came in physical contact with me that I knew that I felt was not going to put it online.
Everyone that knew me, that like knew I was going to that, like guessed it, just because my face is just too much. Like I was like the whole time, like I was way too happy.
I was like, they don't care if my sister knows or if Leslie knows, so I'm gonna tell them. As long as they don't put it online, I know they won't.
That they knew what we were doing. They knew we were going to record for Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I had one friend who was like, I bet you meet her. And I thought she was being ridiculous. And so after, she's like, I just keep thinking of these amazing things. And I know what my ideas are not even close. And I think the only thing I said to her was, you're probably not that far off. And then she lost her mind. And then I said, okay, I can't talk to you anymore. I'll see you in like October.
So the videos, I guess, came out recently, right? This past week?
Monday, yeah.
Monday, okay. You'll have to forgive me. If you haven't listened to our podcast before, I haven't seen Doctor Who.
Right.
So, at all,
forgive
whatsoever. Thank you. Like, I'm supposed to watch one episode that our guest recommended, and I haven't gotten to it yet. I would have done it this weekend, but I've been gone all weekend. So what was it like watching yourself freak out on video?
Not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Because they did edit out some of the worst parts, right?
So good. I mean, I don't know. I don't always love what I look like on video. And especially when you're surprised, you can't control what happens. And I didn't know, I couldn't even remember half the things I said. So I didn't remember like what I did. Besides cry. I knew I was crying a lot. And I was pleasantly surprised by how it came out. And I just loved the editing was so amazing, because it really like put everybody's, so like back to back and reliving that again. Like it kind of gone away, and it felt like it had just happened again. And that whole day, I think we were all on a crazy high. Mm-hmm. And that was Monday. I did nothing at work. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say that I also was kind of like, oh no, like how's this going to be edited? What's going to happen? but they did an amazing job. And I think that they one of the other weird things, you always see, like, you see these types of videos, like Adele did one, and you always see people like, I'm not crying, you're crying on Twitter. And to see people saying that about us was a weird. I was like, this is, we're all crying now, but I'm like so excited.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that part was weird, just some of the comments. And then also that guy that oh my gosh.
My
So this
favorite.
guy went around commenting maybe 50 times. Like, I saw, not even kidding, like, replied to every single person possible on Twitter, was on YouTube, was on Facebook. It was ridiculous. Saying that we
Wow.
were all like paid actors, staged. And I was like, first of all, where's my check? Second of all, wow, okay, he's complimenting us and saying that we're really dramatic, like we have skills, like we should go to Hollywood and become actors.
It is weird because there is that very, very passionate small group of douchebags that are
Yeah.
so mad they chose a woman. And so that was a very dedicated guy to across social media, tracking down everybody's tweet about it and being staged.
Fake.
Yeah.
That was
It
they
made
were
me
all in
laugh
caps.
so much.
Fake.
I'm just like, go
Oh.
back to the subreddit from whence you came.
Oh dear.
Oh, do you know the other part I was excited about that was in the video was like I said, that I was the first cosplayer, and so she said, you're definitely the best dressed here, and I was like, yes, that's
Aw.
in there. But I don't know how I feel about the beginning where I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Should I say my name? But it was kind of like, I like that they put sort of like the behind the scenes kind of
Yeah.
thing.
They did great, and the staff were
It-
so sweet too.
They were
They were
fantastic.
were.
so sweet.
Yeah, I sent them an email on Monday saying like, thank you so much. This is amazing.
And
Yeah,
Kyle
I did too.
actually said that she was a fan before she was hired, and that was kind of, I think, how she got hired, something like that.
Yeah. She was in that the video they showed before the panel.
Yeah.
There's like that video of Jodie arriving from Cardiff to San Diego, and she's like the fan cosplaying that she talks to. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's Kyle.
So
so
cute.
cool.
And so
She's so pretty.
she's so pretty.
Do you know what else I just realized is that, so when we were up, like, being sequestered, she was filming all those interviews, like all those, not those interviews, all those spots, because she's wearing the same outfit. So she must have been there while we were there the whole time.
Yeah. I when I saw it myself, I knew that when I'm excited, I'm excited. I am nerd to the core, all passion, all, so I was like, wow. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, I do not look dignified. I do not look, and I was like, I'm just going to embrace it. You know what? Because you get at the point in your life where, you know what? You're like, I'm not cool. And then you're like, well, no, I'm not. That's me.
Yeah,
We might as
who
well.
cares?
See,
We might
I
as well
think you were cool. It
just
radiated pure joy. That's what that was.
That's what makes me happy, is that like I had no inhibitions of being so nerdy about things, and Comic-Con like already brings that out. Like, you just let it all out, and you have no worries about like being nerdier than one person. In fact, I wish I was nerdier to like keep up with more people. So to like see it at an event that was like something that we love so much, and showing how much we love something, it was really cool to see you all, especially like, oh, they're just as like crazy about things as I am, and it's being celebrated, and that was really emotional too. The whole thing,
and it
Oh my
was very
goodness.
sweet. The replies I got where people said, "Wow, you made me smile," or "You made my day," or something. I was like, you know what? If my goofiness can serve that purpose, then let's be goofy.
Yeah.
Well, I am so happy that I met you ladies. And actually, all the other people we met were really, really cool. And thank you so much for being on our show. Because I know people watch that video and are like, wonder what that was like. So thanks for coming on. And
This was so much fun, and I also am really happy to have met you all, and everybody else. We all found each other, and we're all gonna get matching tattoos.
yeah.
Gonna make it happen.
We're gonna, given that we all get our tickets again next year, we are gonna re-meet. And Kat was like, I'm thinking tattoo. Someone's like, well, I could do a TARDIS, so I'm down for that. So since you two are also very talented at what you do in your writing, acting, art, etc., where can people find you online?
Go ahead, Allie. I have to think
Okay.
about what mine is.
So you can find me on Twitter at Gallant Designer, and on Instagram, same thing, or at my website, which is just alexandragallant.com.
And I do have to interject. I went on Allie's Redbubble page, and her designs are beautiful. I am absolutely going to get something. They have like these little cute little bumblebees and mermaids and all kinds of awesome stuff.
You're
Well,
so
even
sweet.
The day, was it the day of the video release? She's like, I just sketched this really quick, and it was like a life portrait of Jody. I was like,
Yeah.
cool.
So like a lot of really
It's
cute
amazing.
natures and like animals, really cute stuff, and then also fan art. So definitely check her out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is great. I'm so happy to have met you guys. I think that one of the best parts about how they picked us, like based on, obviously sort of creative or artsy people or people that are really into the fandoms, is that we all kind of just, got along right away because we're just like, oh, you're an artist? You're this too? Wait, we all have this in common? This is amazing. So I'm so glad. I can't wait to see you guys next year if we can go all get to Comic-Con again.
Yeah.
Totally. And where can we find you now?
So you can find us at Ugly Face Stories. It's uglyface_stories on Instagram and Facebook. And then you can find me on Twitter at Natika24. And Instagram as You're a Wizard Natty with underscores thrown in there.
Cute.
But
And
I will tag you guys and stuff. And we're kind of just everywhere.
You guys are such a funny, cute team.
Or Y-E-R?
No. I know, I didn't do it the Hagrid way. Youre.
Just curious.
That actually was the first question I had too. I was like, wait, is it you're a wizard or is it you're a wizard?
It's your, because I think You're a Wizard was taken, or it was causing something.
Okay.
But it pains me every time I share it. It's not Hagrid, I'm sorry.
It's okay, you're forgiven. All right, well, I'll see you girls on Twitter and hopefully in real life soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks
so
for having
much.
us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Since we are podcast newbies, it would mean a lot to us if you'd subscribe and rate us on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Also, we love to hear from our listeners. Leave us a voicemail at 785-746-2604. Email us at ask@geekygirlguide.com, or hit us up on social media at Geeky Girl Guide, all one word, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And remember, in the words of the great John Barrowman, never apologize for being nerdy. Until next time.